So I'd imagine they'd be fairly well equipped for whatever would assail them. You guys are hungry. Let me get you something. With a wave of her hand, she kind of sculpts the food out of really thin air. Like, she kind of flourishes her hands a little bit, says some weird things in a language you don't understand, and then all of a sudden you guys have modest grub. Like, you have a turkey leg, some stuffing, some greens on the side, and she gives them all to you.
Can you do that, Carrick?
I literally, damn near bury my face into the food, because that's the first real food I've seen in a while.
I'm afraid not, my friend. That magic comes from a different sphere than mine.
Yeah, and I can only do it so many times, you know?
I would like to make an Arcana check.
Sure.
And to confirm that is divine magic.
Sure.
Oh, 20 on that. 26.
That is as divine as it gets, my friend.
Interesting.
And it's also the spell Create Food and Drink.
I'm definitely eating, but I'm compiling some information at the same time.
How long has it been since you had proper meat?
They would feed us really crappy gruel. It's like that sort. It's like what is it? It's like prison. It's like that prison loaf you see, where it's just stuff that's made out of essentials, and it's not meant to taste. You're just meant to kind of live off it.
Yeah.
Every now and then, someone would sneak in strips of meat, but never a whole meal, never a whole damn turkey leg.
Well, it was also an established thing that I would sneak the people on his detail some of my food.
Yeah, so I imagine.
So yeah, obviously I wouldn't be bringing whole meals in there because I wouldn't be able to sneak that by, though.
Right.
Nah, he would probably slip in food, not scraps, but strips of food, strips of chicken, strips of meat, and all that.
Yeah, the kinds of stuff I can easily sneak past the guards, basically.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, meat is also pretty scarce in this world too.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
The first crackpot underground farmer to cultivate a lineage of cave chicken. So much bank.
Yeah.
Side career idea if this adventuring thing goes tits up. Okay.
It tastes like turkey, which might be foreign to your palates.
Oh,
Who
but
knows?
it's wonderful, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's really good. And you look around the room, there are hundreds of thousands of books behind her. There's a whole bookshelf behind the bar, behind the spirits that she grabs for, her job. And you see books like Lust of the Pirate Queen, Lust of the Spider Queen.
No, they followed us. Damn it. Oh god, we might be in Trap House.
Trap bar?
I'm having flashbacks.
She waits until you guys eat. Well met, my name is Azimo-san. And you are?
Forgive my rudeness. I'm Carrick Stormwind.
Well met. And she waits for the rest of your names.
Embrin Underlock.
Well met.
You may call me Krusk.
Carrick, Embrin, and Krusk. Very good. She takes a notebook and she scribbles something onto it. It's a little leather-bound one. Sorry, it's a force of habit. Blushes when she sees you guys notice her scribbling in her notebook.
The guest book, maybe?
It's a hard leather-bound book stitched together with one of those rawhide shoestrings kind of through the middle of it. It's well worn. You can tell that the spine has been, often bent. What brings you to New Hope?
Well, we're traveling currently in the same direction, but I'm not sure it's entirely for all the same reasons. I'm in search of a mythic land, and I kind of smiled almost bitterly.
She kind of laughs.
I received a letter from Viridian. There's slight skepticism in my voice.
You received a letter from it. She scribbles that furiously into her notebook. Uh-huh, interesting. And when did this happen?
Well, I suppose that would just be yesterday.
Yesterday, huh? Interesting. So there's letterheads coming from a mythical town, and she kind of continues to scribble and hem and haw in various languages, some of which you might not know, some of which you do know. They're all kind of very interesting. I wonder what this means.
I see that, like me, you're somewhat of a scholar,
I do admit that I'm a bit of a scholar. She kind of blushes at that, and she looks backwards at the bookshelf. It's an almost imperceptible red flush of her cheeks, and she kind of muses over Lust of the Pirate Queen, Lust of the Spider Queen, etc., etc. Well, back when everything was, before, I was a bit of a prolific scholar myself.
Yes, those times feel terribly distant now, don't they?
She looks over at Bather. By the way, I still haven't forgotten that you still owe me a copy of Lust of the Nightshade. And Bather kind of rubs the back of his head. Oh yeah, I'll get that to you as soon as I'm done with it. This time, I want it dry, please. That was gross last time.
Oh my
Ow.
god.
Oh no.
They mean cave moistness, right? Like with water.
Yes. Yeah, we're going with that.
Sure, okay.
I wonder how many of those books exist.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure they all have at least one word in common in the title.
Not 2? Or maybe 3?
This is so...
Her ears kind of perk up at the have a theme. Look, that was my publisher's idea, not mine. I'm sorry.
You're the author.
Yeah. Consigned sigh. Yes, I did write those.
Somewhere in a distant land, in a different universe, Damokos is twisting in emotional agony through flashbacks of Trap House right now.
Embrin's gonna attempt to soften the situation. Well, if it got people to read, it can't be all bad. Any reading is good, isn't it?
I mean, I'd rather be known for the works that were a lot more serious in nature. I guess we can't pick and choose our audience, but I would rather be known more for my journalistic work than other works, you know? But I guess that doesn't matter anymore.
If it makes you feel any better, my father only ever wrote the driest of the dry textbooks, theoretical papers.
Well, that feels a lot more useful than what I've done. Anyways, the foragers, they left the village a while ago, and we've yet to hear back, and people are getting restless. They're saying it's the Akaka.
What are the octopi?
Does that word mean anything to me?
Yeah, sure. Roll me a history?
I can do that.
Rip.
Mediocre as it gets.
Yeah, you have no idea. Anyone else want to do it?
History, yeah?
Yep.
Oh boy. I'll do it.
You similarly don't really know.
I'll give it a shot. Why not?
Alright.
She's gonna nat 20 it. I'm waiting.
Probably.
That would be hilarious.
I'm gonna nat 20 straight into the toilet bowl. Here we go.
Oh my God.
Hey!
Now that we're all sufficiently ignorant of local myths.
Hooray! I wonder why. It's not like we're not from around here. Wait a minute.
Alright, so, what is the Akaka?
You know, it's one of those things. People see a lot of things in the dark, you know? Which is kind of omnipresent as of late.
Oh! Embrin stands up. I need to fix that! I can't see in the dark. How do I fix that, though? I sit down again.
Slightest eyebrow raise. Yeah, anyways, there's a local legend of these tall, slender creatures that roam around in the dark catacombs and the areas beyond. People say that they kind of just take people in the darkness and they're never heard from again. But then again, what separates that from any other creature in this blasted world?
And you're thinking that one of these creatures took the foragers?
I mean, that's what the villagers are muttering, and everyone's kind of locking themselves in now. They're afraid that there'll be reprisal from them. You know how people are in dire situations. The mind goes to fancy, and then all of a sudden there's hysteria. I think it is the depopulation that Carrick was mentioning. It's getting kind of harder to get consistent food nowadays, and what I just did, I can only do a certain number of times before my god doesn't really listen to me anymore.
Yes, and speaking of that, if you don't mind, whom should I be thanking for our meal?
Well, you can thank Lathander.
Ah, very good.
She pulls a bottle and she, rips the cork out with her teeth and pours, a dark liquid into her own glass. You know, I think you guys are the type that would help me expedite this whole thing. Maybe you guys can go looking for them.
Yes! Sorry. Whoa. I get punchy after a meal. It doesn't feel right to not even pay for our food. So, I mean, gosh, if we can... something. God. Unless you two object. Embrin looks at Carrick and Krusk.
It certainly would seem to be a good idea for capable travelers to check in on these missing folk.
Scholar.
Scholar?
I have a question.
My name is Azim.
Zim, I will help you find these forgers, but on one condition.
And what might that be?
You say you've written books. Do you have any books about the above?
She pauses for a moment, muses her collection, and I'm going to roll a search check for her.
Oh no, she has to search in her own collection. I can only imagine how vast it is if that's the case.
She kind of hems and haws. And she dusts off a book that has leather-bound scales. It's pretty impressive. Whoever made this hardcover book was actually pretty adept at their craft, and I mean, it feels like you're like touching an alligator's skin. It's really impressive. And she hands it to you. I guess this book on modern ecology would do the trick?
I take the book almost apprehensively, and I say, "Thank you for this. Contents of this book provides me a comfort civilization will not know." And I ready my weapon to head out.
Okay. Hey, by the way, you might want to wait a couple of minutes. Roll me a Constitution check.
Oh yeah, true, because I was drinking my brain out. Hold on one sec.
Yeah.
Constitution, yeah?
Yep. You feel like something kicked you in the back of the head, but then you kind of right yourself.
Oof.
Wow.
Guess I'm
Yeah.
A-okay.
Krusk, you have an appetite for many things, huh?
Indeed.
This liquor seems to have more of a kick than I thought. I should have taken your suggestion more seriously.
Yeah, yeast is hard to come by. That's why I have to up my proofage. She goes to the big sack that she received from Bathor, and she pulls out what appears to be like a cultivation kit, and she starts like fiddling with it. Yeah, speaking of which, I have to start brewing now. I'm gonna have to make up for lost time on that. That amber ale you just had is among the last of my stock, and she kind of looks around the room again. In light of recent events, I feel like I'm going to need to double up on it. So,
Once more, before we leave, so we can
I feel guilty.
commit it to our memories, what are the names of the 3 foragers we are looking for?
Marcus, Orlus, and Epitus.
3 isses.
What kind of folk are we looking for?
Well, Marcus is the boorish human type. I've had my share of those. She kind of like rolls her eyes.
And Bryn ponders on this.
Orlus is a little bit more my type. Kind of a stout man. Well, really more beast than man. Kind of like puts a finger to her lips.
More beast than man in what way?
Well, let's just say he's an unusual type. I wouldn't know how to describe him. Bullish, I suppose?
Horns and all?
Oh, yeah. Really long horns. She kind of muses on that for a while.
Embryn is terribly confused because
There's like discomfort, but like smoothly proceeding, like still with my disbelief. Fur as well?
Oh, yeah.
And hooves?
Yeah. Yeah. You ever seen a Minotaur before?
Yes, I've seen a Minotaur before. Oh my, I didn't realize. He must be a large fellow.
Oh, yes. You could definitely say that.
Lady Zine,
I...
have you written the work Lust of the Minotaur Lord?
She kind of like strategically places herself on a certain part of the bookshelf, but you're able to kind of see Lust of the Minotaur King.
Oh no. Well,
Starting to wonder who the
Yeah,
audience
that-
really is.
generally speaking, Minotaurs can take care of themselves, so that's an interesting bit of information. What about the last gentleman?
Well, he's a squat chap. Like I said, he's probably has the most training. I guess Orlus can definitely handle himself in certain situations. He's dwarven in nature.
Excellent. And we have almost no information on where they've gone.
Well, I would assume that they're going into the foraging fields, which would be north and east, I suppose. Be a little bit of a travel, about better part of an hour. She looks at like a clock that she has placed strategically on her right, your left,
Like a big-ass water clock, or is it like a Clockworks smaller device?
like a hydraulic type of clock.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say the better part of an hour. She kind of like turns her head and kind of calculates in her head.
Very well. Is there a general store in here that would be open?
Generally speaking, probably not. It'd probably be the closest thing, I guess.
You see, we left our town in a bit of a hurry, and I am short on supplies.
I feel more like we got poured out of town like we were dumped out of a bowl. You know? It wasn't even so much a kick as of like, well, here you go! Vrow! And, man, you're right. The beer is strong. I'm talking funny.
Roll me a Constitution check, Embryn.
Oh, yeah.
Smashed.
So, something kicks you in the back of the head, your legs turn to, like, jelly, and you feel like someone, like, dropped industrial equipment on the back of your head, but you're feeling pretty nice.
I imagine Embryn has her head, shoulder, most of her torso on the bar like sideways, and she's like fake holding herself up with one arm, and she's like trying to leer around